Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back this week to the Married to My Purpose podcast, where we talk about real stories, real experiences, and real talks on being married to your purpose. And I am so excited tonight to have my good friend on, Maria Thorpe. We have all types of good time when we get together. We're not going to tell y'all all our secrets tonight, okay? We don't have enough time, and it's not your business anyway, okay? So we're going to have a little fun tonight. Maria, thank you so much for the opportunity to have you on the show. I am looking forward to just having a little conversation with you tonight to catch up, see what you've been up to, and share with the audience some of those things that you've been doing. But before we do that, and I pass it off to you, just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I'm so excited to be here to chat with you. Wow. My name is Maria Thorpe, and I am a federal government executive. I am an international best-selling author. I'm a speaker, a mentor, a real estate coach. You know, I've mentored numerous students in STEM, and I've spoken at various events. I speak at local organizations. I've spoken at the White House under President Obama. I really like sharing my gifts, my God given talents with those that want to be involved in the purpose that I believe in, and that is STEM education.
Mm.
Because I believe education is the only way out. It will take you wherever you need to go, wherever you want to go, because as you know, Dr. Herbie, knowledge is power. And so
Yes.
that's what my purpose is. You know, just being available to our community, to our youth, to our families, to our moms. Everything I do really focuses around education and giving people that knowledge that they need to engineer their
Mm.
success.
I'm glad that you stopped there at the end of that sentence because out of all the things that you just mentioned, you did not mention that you were an engineer. Okay, who happens to be a black
Mm,
woman. You're not a black engineer, you are an
yeah.
engineer who happens to be a black woman. So you have got to talk to me because we actually never had this conversation in terms of you being an engineer and why did you choose that? Like you could have chosen anything else. When I think engineer, I'm thinking too hard for me to even pursue. Okay, so I need to hear a little bit of that story tonight. Talk to us about that.
You know, when I was growing up, I am the youngest girl of eight
Oh
siblings.
wow.
And so I always had an interest in, how things worked. But
Mm,
when I was in school, I loved math and I loved science. And I loved it because my teachers told me that I was good at it. And at
mm,
the time, I didn't know what an engineer was, but I was fortunate enough to go through a program. It was called PRIME, and
mm.
it's for Philadelphia Regional Introduction for Minorities to Engineering. And that program afforded me the opportunity to go to after school programs in engineering. Also, it allowed me to go to the university surrounding the Philadelphia area where I lived
Mm.
every summer to learn a different skill in engineering, but mostly to spend time on a university campus, one that I could possibly attend upon graduation. And so that was my introduction to STEM in general, but engineering in particular. And I just loved it. It just
Wow.
it just gave me the energy. It let me know that the mind is something to be proud and something to use at all times.
I love that. Well, so let's dig a little bit deeper into when you were talking about the different colleges that you were able to attend. Like so over time, before you even went to college, how
Yeah.
many opportunities in terms of colleges did you go to, or was this a program that was at the same college every summer? Was it different schools?
Yes, it was different schools. And since it
Nice.
was a Philadelphia program, I got an opportunity to spend summer at Temple University, at Villanova University, at
Wow.
Drexel University, and some time in Penn State. So, believe it or not, my undergraduate, my BS in electrical engineering is from Drexel University.
Mm,
My master's is from Penn State, one of them.
mm.
So I leveraged those networks to help me to understand the opportunities at all of the local universities. Because at first, like so many young folks, it's like, oh, I want to leave my home and I want to get away
Mhm.
from here. But in looking at the opportunities at all of those universities, I found myself finding what I needed right in my own backyard. In fact, Drexel was the number one engineering school in the area.
Really?
Oh,
I
yes.
would think it was Penn State.
Oh, no. In my community, I mean, Drexel was a hop, skip, and a jump for me. Penn
Mm,
State, even though they have campuses all around, Penn State main campus was a little farther.
gotcha.
And, someone like me, I grew up in the inner city. I was the first one in my family to go to college. So it wasn't like we had any money to send me to college. So
Mhm.
that's a whole nother story. But to make it short was I did get a scholarship to send me to Drexel for the very first year. And then as you know, or maybe not, Drexel is a co-op school. So
Mhm.
you would go to school for the first year as a freshman and the last year as a senior, and years 2, 3, and 4, because it's a 5 year program, you would actually go to school half time and work half time. And the money that you used or made would go back into your education. But the
Wow.
good thing is that I was getting experience in engineering.
Wow. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what a co-op university was. That's the first time I heard of it. I mean, I didn't go to one. So that's because when I think about what you just described, I'm thinking about your senior year, you find an intern and you can go and work as an intern and then you graduate. But you're talking about a school that allows you to do half school and then but
Yes,
today they need to have more of that in colleges because when you think about it, Maria, there are a lot of kids who come out of school or young adults, I should say, that come
yes,
out of school in college and they cannot find jobs because these jobs do not understand. They don't have experience. I wonder
yes,
why all universities don't have co-ops. I know they have interns, but that
yes.
really sparked my interest when you said that.
Yes, and it sparks my interest as well. And I'm making this sound like a simple process, but a young Black girl growing up in inner city Philadelphia, I'm not the one that they thought would be accepted to this university.
Mm,
And because of my network, my community, my teachers, all behind me, and most of all, my family, it brought me the opportunities that you wouldn't believe. And it impacted me so much that now one of those purposeful things I do is give back. So when I went to college, I received a Navy scholarship. Now that's a story I need to tell you.
mm,
So I told you I got a scholarship from Drexel, but it's for year one.
mm.
In other years, I had to use my money that I made from working, but I also have room and board and all those other things. So that wasn't enough. But a neighbor of mine, I always believe, speak it into the universe, other ears will hear it. A neighbor of mine heard of a program that was looking for female engineers, and they were offering a full scholarship, books, tutors, tuitions, all of that. And all I had to do was apply and interview. Well, lo and behold, I was successful in obtaining that scholarship
Mm.
and with the Department of the Navy.
I was going to ask you how you got to where you are right now. Like, how did you get from over there to over here?
So, a lot of skipping, but that is how I came into being an intern for the Department of the Navy. And one of the opportunities as a part of that program was upon graduation, they offered me a job as an engineer.
Mm,
So bring that around a whole 180, I like to say 360 sometimes. I have created those very opportunities in the Department of the Navy today
mm.
because somebody looked out for me and now I want to look out for others. So I have created an intern program in the summer where I pay students a wage for an engineer that's in school with experiences, and they're also getting uh, being able to have an experience in engineering in a research lab to put on their resumes. But the other thing that it does, this program that was created allows them to come back and work for us as well, because that's the opportunity I had. And
Wow.
this year, I've added another component, and that is now, once you graduate, if you want to go on to get your graduate degree, I'm piloting a program right now to do just that. So more to follow on that. I'll have to tell you a little bit about that.
So wait. I want to make sure I understand what you just said. So you have a program, and I could be mixing this up, but I want to make sure it's clear because I may have students or friends with kids who may, be interested in it. So you have created this program within the Navy?
Yes.
Is it the Department of Navy or where you work in the Navy?
Well, it is specifically for where I work in the Navy. However, I've helped the Department of the Navy create 10 of these programs,
Wow.
include their first ever lawyer program. So the JAG. So if you're going to school and you want some experience at the JAG, they now have a program. There's a program created at BUMED. There's a program created at NAVC and several other places. And so it has been my great honor because they loved so much what I created for the organization that I support. They wanted to duplicate it across the Navy. So in this program, not only do you receive a summer internship, but while you're there, I've created what's called a buddy mentor program. So you get a buddy, someone you can uh, collaborate with, befriend, and learn more about the community. I've also put in place what I call Wednesdays at 1 and Tuesdays at 2 and Thursdays at 3, where students and new employees can see the different opportunities where we work, meet
Mm.
people, start to build their network, and look for additional opportunities as they grow their career as an engineer. So that's just some of the things I've been able to do. And I'm very excited about it because it's all a part of creating that engineering mindset and helping people grow in STEM.
I love it. I mean, seems like you have created this blueprint. And to be honest, it doesn't sound like it's just specific to engineers. Like this should be I won't say patented, but it
Mhm.
should be something that can be duplicated, which it already is. But it should be more widespread, in my opinion, because you've created this pipeline for college students who we already know don't have the experience. And we
Mhm.
know that that's going to be a knock against them. So for you to create that, you're giving them the opportunity to pad that resume.
Absolutely. And it's not just padding, it's that experience.
Yes.
Literally will have some experience, hands on experience, because as we put together the plan for the students,
Yeah.
they get a work plan when they walk through the door.
And they're
They
more comfortable.
yeah, they know where they're going to be working. They know who their manager is. They know who their mentors are. They can sign up for those additional experience that I talked about. So it is such an opportunity. I am so proud of the students that have gone through it, and I'm even more proud of the students who have come back to the organization upon graduation.
Wow. So you do have some retention in there as well.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
amazing. So
Yes.
listen, I don't even know if we need to shift over into all of your other superpower, superwoman hats, honey, because we can sit right here all day. So mentor,
Yeah.
coach, real estate agent, like what are we doing, Maria?
You know,
Published author, international best-selling author. How do you tie? Okay, when do you have time to do all this?
it's all about the family,
Mm,
because the foundation of anything is the family the home. When my children were growing up, our home was called our Fortress of Solitude. Do you remember that from the Superman movies? That is where Clark Kent went when he needed energy, when he needed to think, when he needed to be. And so the home is that place where a family, where a child can come to do just that, to think, to grow, to develop, to have those conversations, to just be. So that's how the real estate game got into. It's a little more to that, but that's how I started that. So, it's all about the family and being able to be together and grow together, develop together, strive together, and engineer your success.
I love that. I love that. Okay, now talk to me a little bit about this book. Like, did you take the angle of engineering when you wrote in this book? Did you talk about real estate? Did you talk about mentor? Like, what are we talking about? I want these people to go buy this book. Okay. So tell us a little, don't tell us everything because we want them to go buy it. But tell me a little bit of why you wrote it and what the nexus is of what's there.
Well, there are not many ladies in tech. And so this book is about it's a collaboration with ladies in tech.
Oh,
And many of them are cyber or IT or the various aspects of tech. I'm an engineer, not just an engineer, I'm a senior manager. There are not many people who can make it to that level. So what the book does, it's like a resource for our young folks, for ladies who are currently in the tech space, and for people who may be thinking about getting into the tech space. It gives you uh, a platform or roadmap or blueprint of things you can do in a technology space. Now, this is volume 3. So I was in volume 1, and now I'm in volume 3. I didn't do volume 2 because I was writing another book. I got about 7 collaborations under me as I work on my individual story to share
congratulations.
with everyone. And so I'm excited about this book because I talk about breaking barriers and a journey of courage and grit. So,
Mm,
what does it take to be a leader at the place I am in my career? What did it look like? What did I do? How being the first African American female to head an engineering department, how was that experience for me? And I'm sharing those experiences with others to include a few tips towards the end of things you can implement in your career to help you. So that's just a little bit about the story, but I'm excited about it. Pre sales are starting, like I think this week.
mm.
So it'll be out there on my website, mariavthorpe.com, where you can go and purchase this book as well as my other books that are there for your review. So each of them have a little special spin on it, so you can learn something from each of them.
I love it. I love it. So you talked about, of course, it's Black History Month. We cannot erase or diminish that piece of it. And considering you are a woman of color and you have matriculated to the highest levels of the federal government and managed and led people, like what are some things that you can share that you've experienced, the highs and the lows?
Mhm. For me, I'm a positive person, and I believe that. I have 3 P's that I use. I have more P's, but 3 primary P's I try to use every day, and one of them is being positive.
Mm, I'm taking
People
notes. Hold on. Go
work
ahead.
positive people. It's so easy to be negative, but it's just as easy to be positive when things are good, when things are bad. Be that light at the end of the tunnel that sees the possibilities of the opportunities that you may be involved in.
I love that.
Number 2, have a plan. You know, if you don't have a plan, you can go in any direction. It might not be the right direction, but if you have a plan, it can be the wrong direction, but you in a direction so you can change direction to get on the path of the direction you want to
Come
go.
on. I love it.
Plan. And number 3, be persistent. You know, the door is not always open on the first time you knock. But don't let that stop you come back and knock again. Persistency is what will get you in the door. People think no means go away, but you know what no means to me? Next opportunity.
Mm.
Being persistent, having a plan, and being positive will get you through the door, will help you with your career, and it will keep you with the mental fortitude you need to be in this space.
Wow. Wow. Being positive, having a plan, and being persistent. I like that, Maria, but I also like the door is not always open on the first knock, and no equals next opportunity. And
Yes,
not
yes.
to stop. That is so powerful because a lot of times, especially now, there's a lot of change going on. I'm just going to park
Yes.
that right there and leave it alone.
Hmm.
Even in the federal government to where we work, there's a lot of changes. And from day to day, we don't know who the haves and the have nots are. And I'm not talking about race. I'm not talking about gender. We don't know what the flavor of the day is in our profession right now. And to be able to be persistent and just be positive, my grandmother used to say, it pays to be nice. It
Hmm.
pays to say thank you. It pays to be kind. And so you've added some more things even to my toolkit tonight. No is next opportunity. No is not necessarily a closed door. And if the door doesn't open the first time, you keep knocking. I love it. Listen, you got me a whole little dissertation of something I can write about. I'm gonna quote you and cite you now. Don't look.
Believe me, I've knocked on doors that didn't open, and I've come back to them, and they flung open, and they were happy they did. Because when I walked through that door, I bought something they needed, and I had a positive attitude, and it just made the day, the work, the experience that much better. Not only for me, but the people that I engage in.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes we cower away not because we aren't capable, but because of the resistance or the friction or the perceived we don't want you here. Well, I mean, there's been a lot of experiences where people may not want me in a place, but I'm supposed to be there. And
Yeah.
if we can get past that part of it and keep that grit like you talked about, sometimes we're in a place only to shift to another place. But you got to go through that door. I was telling somebody a couple of weeks ago, if I'm standing on the outside of my house and I have a level, when you walk in my house, there's a basement and then there's a floor upstairs. I
Mhm.
can't stand outside on the porch and get to my bedroom. I've got to go through the door to get to the other door to get to the other door. Sometimes
Yeah,
we want to jump from the porch
yeah,
to upstairs without even going through the door.
yeah. Especially our young folks. They want to
Yes,
they want to come in running things with nothing behind them. And you ask them a question, they look at you like a deer with the headlights. But I say, be positive. Come on, let's learn something. Get with your mentor. Get something under your belt that you have to offer and be persistent. So I'm not telling you to leave the room. I'm telling you to bring something in there when you come so that people will want to hear what you have to say. And so often our young folks either coming in with their heads down, they're not confident, and they're unsure. And
hmm
so that's another thing through my chess club, because I'm co owner of the Waldorf Chess Club, where I teach kids as young as 5 how to build their confidence, strategic plan, strategic think, and just know what they know all through the game of chess.
I love it. I love it. And the fact that you take that and you use it, a lot of times kids don't know that they're learning other things. One
Exactly.
of the things that I do in my coaching company, Coaching That Cares, I actually employ students, generally high school or college, and they have to do a video. They
Mm-hmm.
have to go do research a topic, and they have to give statistics in this 1 minute video,
Yeah.
not realizing you're learning public speaking skills, you're learning research skills. Now they like the money, so they're gonna do the video, and they don't get it right the first time all the time. They're like, well, no, 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 because this is gonna be posted.
Yeah.
People are gonna look at this, and it's amazing how the confidence continues to grow. So that is amazing. Chess out of all games, because I look at chess, I'm like, it's too many pieces. It's not like
Yeah.
checkers. Nope, nope, nope,
Come
nope,
on
nope.
now.
That's
Come on
amazing.
now. You can be one of my Waldorf Chess Club queens, where I teach women and moms how to play the game of chess. Why? so they can build their confidence, strategic planning, but they also get to play along with their student, their child, and it becomes a family endeavor.
I
So it's
love it.
all about the family.
Wow. So, Marie, as we get ready to close out, please tell us some of those final nuggets that you want to leave the audience with and let them know how we can reach out to you. You've given us a few places. You've talked about your book, you've talked about the chess club, but tell us how people can find you in the future and how they can connect with you, even while giving us some nuggets.
Absolutely. Well, I'll leave you with this one nugget because we've been talking about STEM, we've been talking about, strategic planning and thinking, but none of that is possible because your minds are like parachutes,
Mm,
only function when they're open. And so you need to have an open mind, an open heart, open ears, and open eyes in order to do this thing called STEM, to grow in your purpose, and to live the life that God has brought you here to live.
love it.
So, with that being said, you can find me, of course, on social media, on Facebook at Maria Thorpe, on LinkedIn at Maria Thorpe. You can also go to my website at mariathorpe.com where you can find my books, book me to speak, and just learn a little more about me. And lastly, if you want to learn how to play the game of chess, you, your family, or your children, you can find me at waldorfchessclub.org.
I love it. Listen, everybody, Maria Thorpe tonight. Thank you so much, sis, for coming on. Listen, we will be back at the same time next week. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you for gracing our crowd and our audience today, Maria. And folks, we will see you all next week. Bye bye now.